Hey you guys, what's up? It's your girl Tiara Michelle back with another video. So as you guys have read from the title of this video, yes, I was diagnosed with endometriosis. I was diagnosed with this last year, and it has been a journey really trying to understand it and trying to also be in the military with this, but I will get into all of this a little bit later. I am mentioning some of this stuff, you guys, but I'm not telling you guys every little detail, and I'm only comfortable talking about endometriosis because it is our awareness month. I just see so many people posting and being so courageous about their stories, so I kind of want to put mine out there, but not every little detail, and so I hope you guys understand that. But there are a lot of other things medically that I've been dealing with, so it's not just endo, so I do want to kind of throw that out there. I'm going to start off with giving you guys a definition. So if you guys see me looking down, I am reading from my phone. I'm going to read to you guys a definition that I found online or from other endo pages, and then I'm going to read you the symptoms and everything that is typically associated with it, and I will go from that, and then I will talk to you guys about my diagnosis, so my symptoms, how I found out I had it, so my diagnosis, and then how I am dealing with it today. You guys, it is Endometriosis Awareness Month. March is Endometriosis Awareness Month, and on the 10th of March, you know, we are 1 in 10 is basically what you call it. So on the 10th of March, we wear yellow, and so I have on a really nice yellow dress, you guys, for this occasion. So I hope that you guys like it. Endometriosis, by definition, is a disease where tissue similar to that which normally lines the uterus grows in other parts of the body. That could be like on your intestines, your bladder, your fallopian tubes, your ovaries, some people their intestines, for some your bowel, and in very rare cases your brain. So it's usually heavy bleeding, painful cycles, backache, cramping, lower abdominal aching, pain during and after a bowel motion, nausea and or vomiting, fertility issues, fatigue, and painful intercourse. So typically to get diagnosed with endometriosis, it takes women several years to get the diagnosis because their symptoms are often ignored by doctors because it just sounds like you're just complaining about a painful cycle, and it's not really what you're doing. So it does usually take a while for a diagnosis. So it is normal to have some pain during your cycle, but it's not normal to have excruciating pain to the fact that it stops you from really living your everyday life, your normal life, and so that is where there's a difference between them. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and get into my symptoms. So for me, the symptoms that I had were heavy bleeding, and I actually had that for 4 months straight. I'm not going to get too much into this because number one, I don't want to get flagged. Number two, I know some people are kind of like squeamish about things like this, so I'm going to try to keep it PG-13. I was just in a lot of pain. I mean, sharp shooting pains, front, back, throbbing, aching pain. Actually, I've been dealing with that today, so I've been in a lot of pain today, but it helps me to kind of get through it by making this video. And I also had a lot of headaches, you guys, constant nausea, which I never really paid much attention to it, but I did have a lot of nausea. And I also had chronic fatigue where I just feel like I can barely wake up in the morning to get out of my bed, wake up to work out. I can't really do any of that stuff. I feel like there's a lot of other symptoms, but those are the main ones that I can think of right now that was causing me a lot of pain. My story as to how I was diagnosed is, so it all kind of started for me a long time ago. I've always had excruciating pain in my lower abdominal region, but I never really thought anything of it. I really just thought 100% that I had PCOS. Most of the symptoms of PCOS, which is polycystic ovarian syndrome, I was almost certain that I had PCOS because I had so many symptoms besides a couple of them, like the weight gain and whatnot. I went to a couple of doctors in the military, but not endocrinologist, but I did go to a couple of other specialists. I ended up going to my doctor and she checked me out and saw some bleeding. That's when, you know, she sent me to get an ultrasound. I got an ultrasound done. Then they came back saying that they saw several cysts and that they do think that I have PCOS, but I had to go and be seen by a specialist. I went, I was seen, and when I was seen, they did the same thing, you know, another ultrasound, they checked me, whatnot, my hormone levels, and it's a criteria that you have to meet. You have to have like 2 out of 3 of the things that they look for, and I did have 2 out of the 3, but the military just for some reason won't count it as PCOS, so pretty much as of now, I say I do not have PCOS because I'm not actually diagnosed with that. I'm like, okay, then what's causing the bleeding? Why am I dealing with all this pain? Why am I dealing with all these symptoms? And when I told him about the sharp shooting pains and whatnot, that's when he told me, I don't think you correlate with PCOS. I think it's probably endometriosis. When he told me this, I had a hard time seeing that I had endometriosis because the symptoms and that condition just seems so bad compared to how I was feeling. Like, a lot of women were constantly in the hospital and stuff, and I never had to go to the hospital, you know, so I was like, I don't think I have that. I had like a few charts that I had to have, and you have to like basically mark throughout the whole entire month when you are having pain. So if you're having sharp shooting pain anytime throughout the month, not just at that specific time of a cycle, but throughout the whole entire month. And honestly, the crazy thing is I had pain a lot throughout the whole entire month, and that's, like I said, with endometriosis, it's not just a cycle. It's not just what they call a period disease, you guys. It's not even that. It's a whole body disease, and that you can have it anywhere, you know. And so the pain can be throughout the whole entire month. It can be constant, it can be rough, it could be easier, it could be minimal. It just varies dependent on the person. My doctor looked at the chart that I had, and then that's when it was decided that I was going to go through the surgery, which is going to kind of go into how I was diagnosed. So in order to be diagnosed with endometriosis, you have to have a laparoscopy, which is where they go and they make incisions on each side of your pelvis and then through your belly button. You are put to sleep. For me, I was really scared to have this surgery because I've never had a knife like to my body. It was the most extreme thing ever, you guys. I was so frustrated. Mind you, I have had several other surgeries before, not really surgeries, but like endoscopies and stuff like that, and it was not that bad. Like you would get there, you know, you sign paperwork or whatever, and then they would bring you to the back of the room and they put you to sleep, and that's it. But this one was so long. Kind of like to give you just the way that it was. Kind of think about like on those movies where people are sitting in a open hospital room where there's beds and people can look at each other. I'll never forget this guy. He was sitting across from me, and he was just kind of like, he just looked over at me and was like, "What's up?" I'm like, "What's up?" And he was like, "What are you getting done today?" And I'm like, "Surgery on my stomach." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, cool. I'm getting surgery on my shoulder." I was like, wow. Anyways, you guys, it took a long time. I think I got there around 7:50. I was sitting in that bed until around 11 o'clock. And then that's when they came and they got me. And I didn't even notice that they were putting me to sleep because no one said anything. I just remember talking to the lady, and then I woke up in pain. I wouldn't say excruciating pain because I do have somewhat of a high pain tolerance. And I woke up like, oh my gosh, why am I in so much pain? Why does my stomach hurt? Right before, because I was in and out of sleep, I just remember my driver, they called my driver on the phone, and then I heard them tell my driver that I was diagnosed with endometriosis, and I was like, wow, that's crazy, never would have thought. They also like put it on your wristband. I wish I had mine still. Let me see if I can. When I had my surgery, and when I woke up, it says diagnostic laparoscopy, and it said coagulation of endometriosis. I guess they just wrote down on here what exactly they were supposed to be doing or what they're, you know, expecting. But yes, when I woke up, I also was given a sheet, and you have like this diagnostic sheet, and your diagnosis is on there where it says what the doctor found and what they did. And so it said on there diagnosis endometriosis and what treatment I was given throughout the surgery. In regard to the treatment, I was given a ablation. For those of you guys that don't know what any of this stuff is, when it comes to endometriosis, the only way for you to get diagnosed is through a laparoscopy, and then the only way to like really get rid of it is through surgery. So you have an excision and then you have an ablation. Excision is where they basically cut at the root more so. It's kind of like, the best way to make you think about it is like a flower. So if you're, you know, like digging the ground like to pull up a flower, you'll pull up the whole root of it. Doesn't mean that it's gone forever, because endometriosis is, there's no cure for it, by the way, but it just will take a longer time for it to grow back. And then ablation is pretty much where they burn it off. So that's like you just cutting off a head of a flower, but it's not dead because there's still roots down at the bottom. And so that is what I had, was an ablation. So that means that it really didn't do anything. That ablations usually last, from what I've heard, it depends on the person, but from most people I know, it only lasts them for about 6 months. Excision, for some, it lasts them for maybe like a year. Some people 3 years, just depends on the person. If you know me, and personally, some people have constantly been mad at me throughout the past couple of years when I was in school, mainly like ROTC and BOLIC and whatnot, because people would get mad because I didn't want to go to eat certain things, or, you know, I didn't feel good or whatever. And it's like, I don't know why I'm not feeling good, I just don't feel good. But it was because I didn't have a diagnosis, and I definitely had a reason to be feeling the pain I was feeling, why it was hard for me to run, why it was hard for me to eat. So as of today, you guys, what have I been doing and how have I been? As I mentioned earlier, I have still been struggling with pain. I'm constantly in pain, and I'm in pain right now. I really don't feel too well, but I am trying to just get through this day. Endo belly is very real, you guys. It's pretty much where your stomach just looks like, you look like you're pregnant, and my stomach looks like that right now. I want to show you guys, but I don't think I'm that comfortable to get there yet, but I will in due time. I did have a hiccup at work, and that was so bad. It was like right after my surgery, and I was supposed to go back to work on this day when I had the flare-up, and it was so bad that I ended up in the ER because I was turned away at the clinic. When I went, they pretty much wrote off my symptoms. I was able to really see what this disease really does, like how people really treat it. I was yelled at in a waiting room with everybody there. She was yelling out my symptoms, talking about my issues, and definitely breaking HIPAA laws, but nothing was done about it. That's another topic for another day. She told me if it was that bad to go to the ER. And I did. I went to the ER, and it definitely was bad enough where they allowed me to stay there. I had to be put in a gown. What's up, you guys? Don't mind my eyes. I've been having some eye issues as well, but here I am. So I was diagnosed with endometriosis, and for those of you guys that don't know what that is, it's basically where the outside lining of your uterus sheds and sticks to other parts of your organs, causing scar tissue and other things. Just look it up. It's like one of the leading causes of infertility. Doesn't mean that you will be infertile, but you are. But I want to bring awareness to it. Like, I'm new to it, so I'm still learning about my condition, but it's a serious condition, you guys. It's incurable, so it's not going to be cured. Like, it's a more to that, you know. So I ended up here because I was lightheaded and nauseous and dizzy, and I ended up going to my clinic, and I was completely disrespected in the lobby in front of a bunch of other people. And
yeah, I was disrespected.
When I've gone to the ER, which has only been once in the military, I literally was just brought to a room and you have on your clothes, they help you, they treat you, they send you home. But I was actually like put in a gown and kept for a while so they could monitor my my levels and whatnot. The people at the ER were absolutely amazing. I had a great nurse, and my nurse was awesome in the fact that he helped me to understand that this is what this illness is. People will not believe you, but he said I have every right to be in this hospital, that it is a very serious illness, and that it was okay. So I felt good. I didn't feel too bad. Other than that, like now, I mean, I'm still trying my best every single day to wake up in the morning. It's very hard to work out. It is very hard to, you know, wake up in the morning because I'm so sleepy. I'm falling asleep throughout the day. Excuse the noises. My neighbors have huskies, and you know those dogs talk a lot. So they're like literally talking to each other right now. That is something I have been battling. Like I said, I don't really get too much into my medical stuff, but I didn't mind talking about this just because of this day and this month, and I do want to kind of help other people that may be going through this, or maybe going through some symptoms and you're not being believed or listened to. So definitely check out, if you're dealing with any of these symptoms or you're feeling like you can relate to my story, definitely go to your doctor and let them know about these symptoms. You are your own advocate. You're your best advocate, so you have to advocate for yourself or nobody else will. If you've made it this far, please put a yellow ribbon. That is the endometriosis ribbon's yellow ribbon, and we are warriors. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure that you guys give it a big thumbs up. Make sure that you guys comment that yellow ribbon if you made it this far. Make sure that you guys hit the bell button next to the subscribe button so that way you're notified every time I post a new video. Make sure that you guys subscribe. It is free, and that way you guys can see whenever I post a new video. And I think I'm not missing anything. Oh, also follow me on Instagram. Follow me on Instagram, you guys, at tt_Michelle. Talk to you guys later. Peace out. Much love. Bye.